My name is Toni Alexander. If you haven't heard from me yet, I'm glad that you're here. I want to give a little quick story before I introduce our guest speaker tonight, Chanika Turner. But just to let you know, I have been a regional vice president since 2012, been with the company since 2008. And really, this all started because I read a book called Worthy. And I'll give you guys the real book, but this is the book that I read. And I'd actually asked Bill Render, my mentor and coach, if he would read it, and he fell in love with it, and we started talking, and really has started me on this entire journey right now, and about learning about shadow beliefs, net worth, self-worth, feeling worthy, feeling like we are that we deserve the blessings that we have, and really just trying to get rid of some of that stinking thinking. And we all talk about how, you know, this business is all mental, and mindset and wealth is all about the mind, about what's going on in your mind and your beliefs. And so Bill Render asked me to do this talk, and really, he suggested, I agree with 100%. Chanika Turner is a great example of the right thinking, the mindset, and she's a phenomenal teacher. She just crossed over $400,000 in income in a rolling 12. She just got a senior vice president promotion. She is a phenomenal speaker. And I just want to give a shout out. She actually is driving to, well, she's not driving, but she's driving with her husband to Colorado. And so her husband decided to surprise her, and she's like, "Oop, I have a talk, a guarantee that I already promised to do." But before I get her on here, I just wanted to share with you a little bit what this is going to be about tonight. And tonight it's about, this is really, the book was really made for women. It was a woman writer. Her name is Nancy Levin. And so really, I'm going to speak from a woman's perspective because that's the only perspective I know. And I'm talking to all the other women out there, but I'm also, you know, I invite, if you have a daughter, if you have a wife, if you have a niece, if you have a best friend, daughter or female, especially if they're young and you love them and you're a man in this, congratulations. I promise you not to waste your time. Because one of the things that I love about this book is she starts it out with, it's a very famous poem. I'm sure we've all heard it before, but it talks about how we as people will lower ourselves to make other people feel more comfortable. And I don't know if you guys ever experienced that, but that is truly sometimes what we do. And, you know, I've been in this business a long time. And if you are in Primerica, you'll understand this. And if you're not in Primerica, please welcome here, because these truths are universal, not just for women, but for everyone. And it's truthful in life. But to be really, to speak into this. Whew, okay. If you know what to do to be wealthy, if you're in business and you know what you're supposed to do and you're not doing it, there's something wrong there. And that's what I felt. I felt that I knew what to do. I'm a builder. I got a regional vice president. I used to recruit 56 people a month. I mean, I've done all that. And yet I found myself hamstrung. And I really kind of found out I had these hangups. I had hangups about money. And what this book talks about is we have these things called shadow beliefs. We have these things in our programming where we're like, you know, I realized going through this, and the book, by the way, is called Worthy, Boost Your Self-Worth and to Grow Your Net Worth. Yes, thank you, Eric, for doing that. And I'll show you guys the book and stuff at the end, but really what helped me with this book is I actually did the exercise. I don't know how many times you guys have read books where you did, like, you know, The Millionaire Mindset and The Secrets of the Millionaire and The Millionaire Next Door. And for heaven's sakes, to slog through Think and Grow Rich 7 times in a row. Because I don't know about you guys, but that's a tough book to read. It is such a tough book to read. And so, forgive me, guys. Shanika's on now. But so really, I read the books, I listened to the audios. I mean, for heaven's sakes, I can quote Art Williams. I can give you the entire Do It speech, right? Bill Render. I've been been a mentoree of Bill O'Render, whether he wanted me or not, since 2012. I mean, read the books, talked to Rabbi Lapin. I mean, did everything I'm supposed to do, but yet wasn't enough. And I just felt that I was hamstrung. And what does that mean? Someone cut your hamstring and you can't use your leg. No matter how much you want to, you can't use your leg. And so really what this call is tonight is to help you guys with Chanika learn, how do we overcome that? How do we reprogram that? How do we learn from someone who's done it and is doing it? And I want you to think not of what she's doing, but what she's thinking. I want you to hear her heart. She's an amazing leader. She's an amazing woman in Primerica. She's an amazing woman outside of Primerica. She's a phenomenal mom. She's a great wife. I mean, for heaven's sakes, this woman deserves a Nobel Peace Prize, not because her husband's that hard, because she's that phenomenal. And so really, Chanika, are you on? Did I lose you again? I think I did. Hold on. Chanika, are you there? I see you.
Yes, I'm here.
Excellent.
I couldn't unmute
Hey.
myself. Hey.
So,
Hello, good evening,
Chanika,
everyone.
I tell you guys, she is such a winner. She's on her way to Colorado. She's still going to keep her commitments with us. So, Chanika, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for being on the road. I hope you guys are safe.
Yes, we parked over so I can get on.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Shanika, I kind of did a quick, because I think you kind of came up. I did a quick idea about how we have these beliefs. We have these shadow beliefs and hang-ups about money and money mindset and wealth and being wealthy. And some of them are pretty general. A lot of people have them, but women have some very specific ones as well. Can you maybe just talk a little bit about your story and where you started from and where you are right now, and kind of give us a little bit of a bird's eye view of your journeys that you are right now?
Yes. First of all, I want to thank everyone for zooming in on this holiday week, and I appreciate everyone. But yes, I started in business 8 years ago. But you got to realize our money consciousness comes from when we were born. And so, whatever household you were born into, whatever your parents thought about money, that's typically how you start off in business and in life. And so my mom was, she worked at a very low wage job. My dad was middle income. So on my mom's side of the family, it was always not enough. Okay. We don't have enough money for this. We don't have enough money for that. So it was, if you want it, you got to go get it yourself, because my mom never had really enough to purchase the things we wanted to get. And on my side, it was basically, we just have just enough. So it's still almost not enough, but we got just enough to pay everything. And so typically that's how your consciousness is built when it comes to money. And so that's how I started off. I had to make sure, my mom said, make sure you pay, your bills. The main thing you got to pay is your living, your mortgage, your rent. You got to put your head down. Everything else is negotiable. As long as you pay your rent and your car notes, you can get to work. Everything else is negotiable. And so that's literally, how I live my life, making sure my bills were paid, making sure rent was paid and car note was paid, and everything else I could play around with. When you get into business, that same mindset follows you. And so, you have to challenge yourself when it comes to your money beliefs, and knowing that you can make this type of money. And so I had to really challenge myself with that. I know my husband a lot, he would say, Shik, you don't think you can make money? And I'm like, yeah, I can make money. I know how to make money, but my belief system was still in the not enough. And then it went from not enough to just enough. And so that's really where I started in business. And it wasn't until I went to this seminar at my sister's church, and the pastor there, he literally broke down the phases of money, the mindset that we have when it comes to money. And he broke it down in a biblical point of view, and he gave scriptures and everything. So I took very rigorous notes, because that's when I realized, literally in business, when I started off, I kept saying we need to make just enough to pay our bills. And so that's literally what happened. in Primerica, in the candy store, and I'm making just enough to pay my bills because that's where my mindset was. And so, we had lowered all our expenses down to 2,000 a month, when we first went full time. Um, because so what happened, Elwood had already started his business before Primerica came to us. So we lowered all of our expenses down to my income. And then when Primerica came and I went full time, we lowered all our expenses down again to 2,000 a month. So my mind was, as long as we make 2,000 a month, we good. That just enough phase. And that's exactly what happened. We were just making 2,000 a month. Every now and then we make a little bit more, but we were really just making 2,000 a month when I first started in Primerica, because that's where my mindset was. And it wasn't until I really started to challenge my belief system with money and listening to Bill Orender and really started delving deep with Rabbi Lapin and reading his books and literally just started challenging my belief system when it comes to money. It's all about your relationship with money. And so that's really when I started to challenge that relationship. And then I started to make money, like, you know, more than just 2,000 a month. But
I think you make that a day now, right?
yes, yes. A little bit more than a day now. Yeah. It's exciting what happens once you challenge your belief system when it comes to money, when you challenge that relationship, because our relationship with money, we have such a poverty mindset or a broke mindset when it comes to money, and we don't even realize it. We don't even realize it until we see exactly what we're doing in our relationship when it comes to money.
So let me ask you, because you said you challenged your beliefs, and part of me going through this book and writing down my beliefs and writing down more beliefs and just kind of, peeling the onion like an ogre, uh, I've discovered a lot of things. But, when you say challenge your beliefs, how did you actually challenge those beliefs? What was that process for you?
That was a very emotional process because our emotions are around money. They're tied into it, because emotionally we have to know that we're worthy to make the money that you need to make here. And so I truly appreciate my husband for just, I'm gonna use the word allow. I don't think it's the word allow, but I'm gonna say that word, but allowing me just to be me and allowing me the growth that it takes to grow in business. So many people, particularly women, you know, because of our belief system, we're not really given that chance to really grow. And so the workshop that I went to with my sister, I made a PowerPoint over it a couple of months ago. And so I have it, but it's going to give biblical, principles when it comes to your belief system with money. And then I'm going to really revamp that because I want to use some of Rabbi Lappin's principles as well, because that's what it really takes. It's really reading the books. You got to understand that you can't solve a problem in the same mindset that it was created in. So right now, the mindset that you have when it comes to money, there's no way you can make more than that until you elevate your mind, until you elevate your skill and your mindset when it comes to money. Then you'll be able to really challenge that mindset. It wasn't until I started reading the books like you mentioned, the Think and Grow Rich, all of these books that really challenge our belief system when it comes to money. And then just jotting down the things that I took from that workshop and really going into it deep with it, going to the scriptures he said, going to why do I feel this way about money? Why do I, feel this way about how I make my money? See, we got to realize we want to make money, but religiously, when it comes to religion, we're told that money is a bad thing. And so it's like it's an internal conflict going on because one side of us wants to make money, but another side of us feels bad that we're making money.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
so you have to solve that internal conflict.
Absolutely. I think I came to the realization that my poverty, I took pride in that. That must became my piety. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh no, I'm not one of those people. I'm
Mm-hmm.
poor. But poor people are better than rich people because they're them. Did you ever have we talk about how if a woman, specifically women, we have typically a very low self-worth, especially when it comes to financial.
Mhm.
And, and we really can never, and you said that you can't really increase that until you can't increase your net worth until you increase your self-worth. Because no matter what, we're like fleas of a circus. We're going to hit the lid. And until we can increase that lid, is that we're going to be able to make more money and not just make it, but accumulate it.
Absolutely.
One of the things I love about you, Chanika, and I have I have a lot of respect for you in so many ways, and I'm just like so thrilled to talk to you. But one of the things I love about it is you talk about the money, you talk about the freedom, but you also talk about your net worth and just the
Yes.
difference that, so maybe kind of, can you dissect that a little bit? Is there a difference you think between earning more money and then having a higher and increasing your net worth? What's the difference of those two? And what kind of gymnastics or challenges did you have to go for that?
Well, I definitely have to attribute that to Bill Arender. I want to say when I first went full time, he had this prayer and that he gave to everyone. And he said to jot down what you want your net worth to be in the next 5 years. What does that look like as far as assets, as far as art, as far as stocks? I mean, like how many RVPs does that look like? And he said, don't get tripped up about the number. Just write the number down, because we start to overthink, like, okay, I got to make sure it's this way, or we just overthink stuff. And so he said, do not overthink, just write the number down. And so I did that. I just wrote the number down. I have the prayer literally on my bedroom mirror. So every morning that I wake up, I read it. Before I go to bed, I read it, because your mind is working 24/7. And so that's why people pay, companies pay so much for commercials, because they know they're brainwashing your brain and your thinking. And so if they do it, why not we do it for ourselves? And so I have that prayer up, and it talks about, thank you, God, for giving me these gifts that I'm about to receive. I mean, literally, he breaks it down as far as like, what do you want your income to be to receive the net worth? And so I just wrote it down. And I say it, when I wake up, I read it before I go to bed, because I wanted to change the way that I believe I can make money. And that it's not just about making the money, it's really about your net worth. What does that look like? Because some people can make money and spend it. There's a lot of people that make, money and it's gone. It's paycheck to paycheck. The quicker they get it, the quicker they spend it. And I didn't want to be in that same boat. So I really had to work on my belief system and my mindset. And so I don't know if we have time to, I wanted to share just a couple of pieces of the
Please do.
okay, good. Let me share
People are
my
asking for the
screen.
prayer. So if you're sharing for the prayer, that would be great.
Okay. I'll definitely do that. Now that
Oh, look at you.
strictly was from Bill Arender, but I would definitely share that as well. But so it just, belief releases faith. Okay. And so you really got to work on your belief system, because it's your belief system that helps you there. And so these are just some of the quotes that I love. But Deuteronomy, your entire family will prosper because of your faith. And when you really start to believe that, then it starts to come true. And how do you work on belief? It was just really repetition. It's me really diving into what I believe, why I believe it, why is this true in my life? And then once you start to ask those deep questions and not be afraid of the answer, because sometimes we have questions, but we're afraid of the answer. And so it's not being afraid of the answer, so that way I can attack it and really learn from it. Okay. Of course, being a generational blessing, there's so many generational curses in our families. And so literally in my family, there was so many curses that I wanted to attack, because I didn't want that to continue to happen in my life. One being poverty, one being a teenage mother, these type of things. And so you got to realize, every new generation believer can in Christ break the cycle of generational sin and begin with the cycle of generational blessing. We're here to become a blessing, but you have to break that cycle so that you can become a blessing. But I want to, so this talks about financial increase. You got to prepare for generational blessings. Okay. You got to prepare yourself to break that. So kingdom finance, these are just some of the scriptures that he pointed out. But we have to nullify the word of God through there's so many traditions that we have, and it's like, why do we have these traditions? Why do we believe the things we believe? And so once you really start to understand that God does want you prosperous, he wants you to have life abundantly, and that your life has no real purpose or meaning till you become a blessing to somebody else. And so it's knowing that I'm here to be a blessing to somebody else. And that's when you have true, real purpose and meaning, when you know that you're here to be a blessing to somebody else. And of course, I pray that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. So God wants us to naturally prosper and be blessed. And I had to break this thing down because there was an internal conflict in me, knowing that I want to make money, but also knowing that, money is not all those sayings we say,
Money isn't everything.
Money isn't
Can't
everything.
buy happiness. Can't take it with you.
There you go. All you think about is money, all this kind of crazy stuff that goes on in our head that's been brainwashed in us. And we don't know that we really believe it until you start to see it for yourself, because it's in you. If you've heard these sayings growing up, it's already in you. You have you got to check that relationship you have with money. Okay. And just knowing that you got to renew your mind. Okay. Through faith, the will of God is not automatic. You got to renew it. So you got to receive it by God from faith, and just knowing that renewing your mind reorders your steps. And so these are just really the things that I did to attack my belief system when it came to money, and just really diving in deep. I want to go over the 4 areas real quick. Of course, the fundamentals of faith. I'm a true faith, y'all. I train on faith because I remember one time Edward told me, he said, I'm gonna stop this real quick so I can talk. But he said, Chanika, you don't want to go to church. You either gonna have faith or you're gonna worry, but you can't do both. And so we got to realize, so I had to really retrain my thought process on situations, and knowing that I cannot worry about it. So anytime things were happening in my life or in business, I said, okay, God, I'm standing on your word. You said that you have me. You said you won't let me go without. And we got to really think about, when was the last time God let you go? I mean, when was the last time God didn't honor his promises with you? And so when you know that you can stand on his word and say, God, you got me. I'm just going to follow my steps and I'm going to let you handle the rest. And so I literally every day I would say that to myself. Okay, I know I'm God's child. He has me. I'm going to do my part, and I'm going to allow him to do his part. I'm not going to control his part because I know he's not going to control my part. But we try to control God's part. And it's like, no, you're out of your lane. Stay in your lane. So I had to just tell myself that on a continuous basis, that's on God's end. I'm gonna control my end, which is working on here. What books am I reading? What am I saying? Like, you got to put a watch over your mouth. You have to put a watch over your mouth, because we frivolously say things not realizing how detrimental they are. So just being really careful about what you say, because what you say does come to pass. And so just watching, like literally, I watch what I say, because I know whatever I say is going to come to pass. And that comes true with money. That comes true with relationships, with business. But I really watch what I say, because I want to be careful on the things that I say, because I know what I say comes to pass. Your words have power.
True. That's true. Wow.
Yeah.
So keep going. I'm not stopping you.
Let me go back, because I want to go to those 4 areas real quick. Yes. Okay. So the fundamentals of faith, asking. Faith is initiated through prayer. That's how faith is initiated. And you have to believe it. You can only have what you believe you receive when you pray. Okay. So it's asking it through prayer and then believing that you've received it. That's huge. Is believing that it's already in you. Okay. Believing is a matter of my will. Okay. So my experience makes the most potent experience on my belief. So blessed are they that have not seen, but believe. Okay. Believing is you have to challenge your belief system and know that, we want things, but then we don't believe that we can really have it. And that goes back to being worthy. You know, do you truly believe you can have the things that you want out of life? Because God wants you to have it. He's literally your father saying, child, come on. I want you to receive these things, but you got to believe it first.
Mm.
Okay. So faith and belief, they work hand in hand. Faith is acting on what I believe. So in order for them to work, they have to be intact. They have to both work together, you know, and so that's huge. And then of course the inheritance, you know, of course, you know, we hear all these things, you know, but we don't challenge, are we truly believing these things? When God says he wants you to leave an inheritance for your children's children, okay, we hear all this stuff, but do you actually believe the things that you're reading from the Bible? And when you are you believing these things? Are you challenging your belief system when you say these things? And then act upon it. Okay. So having faith like Abraham. I mean, these are all the things that I really in my money consciousness journey, okay, because it's a journey. These, and it's still a journey, but these are all the things I started to really look into. Okay. So what is faith of Abraham? It's hearing God's commands, believing in his promises, waiting on God's blessings, believing, being an instrument of God's blessing to others. See, you're God in natural form to other people. Okay. And so having an addictive faith and knowing that faith looks for more instructions, you know, and being thankful. I mean, during this pandemic, I've been so in the praise and worship mode, just thanking God and just praising him for the things that has happened this year. You know, this business has been such a blessing in us, you know, being able to bless other people. I mean, it really comes back to you tenfold. Like it really is seed time and harvest. And so just being faithful and putting the seeds in. Okay. So here we go. The four, where people are in their finances. Here's the four phases. Okay. You're either in the not enough phase. So you got to check your language. What are you saying? Or what are you thinking? Or you always say, oh, I don't have enough money. Or I don't have enough to do this. You got to check that. Okay. The just enough phase. Oh, we need just enough to pay our bills. We need just enough to do this and we can go on our vacation. You got to check, what are you saying when it comes to your money? Okay. More than enough. You know, people think, oh, you know, I want more than enough. More than enough means you have enough and just a little bit more. You have enough and just a little bit more. But you want no room for enough where it runneth over. Okay. And so what does that look like? When I have no room for enough, I can freely bless as I choose. And I don't have to check a bank account because I can freely bless when I have no room for enough. So we just got to check what we're saying when it comes to our money. Check that first. And then, of course, challenge your belief system and start to watch what you say, put a watch over your mouth, and then think before you speak. Because all that plays a role in when you make money. All of that plays a role. You know, people literally, I see people, they make money and they spend it just as fast as they make it. And it's like, okay, you got to check that. You're still in the paycheck to paycheck phase. Because you're making money now, but you're spending just as fast as you make it. So something's going on there. Check that belief system. Okay. And so what does it look like? Okay, here we go. Not enough. You speak it to your children. You know, I made sure when I was raising my daughter that I didn't say we didn't have enough. I always said it's not in the budget. So it's like, what do you say? So you won't say we don't have enough. It's not in the budget right now. But you know, make lifestyle changes when they have just enough. And that puts them back in the not enough phase. So what does that mean? You get a pay raise at your job and you make a huge lifestyle change and now you're back in the not enough phase. Okay, because you didn't realize that pay raise, it means, you hear this, people trying to live to the dreams, or they outlive their wage or whatever the case may be. But that's what happens. You get a pay raise, now all of a sudden you get into a bigger house, you get a new car, you start buying more expensive things, or in your mind expensive, and then you get right back in the not enough phase. Okay. And that's what happens to people that win the lottery. people that win the lottery or people that come into a lump sum of money, you know, it's like, okay, what happened? 3 months later, you're back broke again. You gotta check your belief system. So more than enough. Okay, of course, more than enough just means we have just enough and a little bit more. Okay, I've been in that phase. Well, okay, we had enough to pay our bills and just a little bit more to vacation, just a little bit more to do this, but not enough to really be a blessing to other people. And that's when you have no room for enough, where your cup runneth over. And so just really checking your language when it comes to what phase are you in when it comes to money. And once you check your language, then you can check, okay, why am I saying this? Okay, what's my belief system and the reason why I'm saying this? Because everything comes from your belief system. So watching what you say and why are you saying it really start to challenge yourself. You know, before you say it, check it first. Okay, why am I saying this? Where is this coming from? Is it something that I believe, something that was handed down to me? Because a lot of times you're just saying things that were handed down to you and you don't even realize it. You're a robot. You're just saying things that were handed down to you until you start to really check that and really start to challenge that belief system. So yeah, I mean, so you know, don't you work hard for your money, let your money work for you. I remember when I was in high school, my economics teacher, I think he was a a silent agent, because we would go into class and he would say, you want your money making money. You want to make money while you sleep. And I would hear him say that. And I'm like, he must have been a secret Primerica agent at that time, because that's exactly what Primerica talks about. And so I wanted that early on, just didn't know how that was going to work. You know, I literally believe I prayed Primerica into my life. I just didn't know it was going to be Primerica, you know, because these are things I'd been challenging my belief system when it comes to money and just my traditions, you know, early on, you know, because of the generational curses that are in my family. As far as, you know, like I said, being a teenage mom, my mom was a teenage mom, you know, childhood molestation, my mom was molested. I mean, just all these generational curses that happen. And I'm like, I wanted to stop it. I said, no, I'm not going to let this happen to my daughter. So I had to take a step back and really work on, you know, the things that were happening in me and why, and receive some, you know, really some spiritual guidance in that area, so that way I can stop that. And because I was already on that journey, money was just another one of those things I had to look into. Like, okay, because I want to make sure I don't want to be paycheck to paycheck or be, you know, poor, or have a poor mentality or poor mindset. And I believe that's why Primerica came to me, because I was already on that journey of challenging these thoughts and these belief systems in me.
Excellent. So let me ask you this, Chanika. So you're a mentor, you're a leader for so many women. And some of the things, I mean, I just love what you're saying. What I'm hearing things like attack the curses, challenge your beliefs. I mean, addictive faith. These are normally like pretty gnarly words, but together they're just phenomenal. So what do you, when you see, like, because I think most of your team are women, is that correct?
That's
Yeah,
correct.
and me too. And so when you see one of your people that are just, they're doing the right things, they're saying the right things, but they're just not moving forward. You know, how do you address that? How do you help guide them through that? Because you had that phenomenal time where you had that divine appointment with that pastor. But how do you help your people? Like, so just say we have 174 people on this call right now, and they're all struggling right now. What would be some of the things that you would tell them, like just to challenge, to help guide them and show them how to challenge those beliefs, to attack those curses? What would you say?
One of the first things that I would say is I tell everyone to get a prayer journal, and you have to seek God's guidance first. And this is what I did. Like literally in my prayer journal, I would ask God to help me when it comes to this. First, you got to realize, what is it that you need help with? And jot those things down. What is it that I need help with? What am I struggling with? And jot those things down, because he doesn't know you need help until you let him know. Okay. And to really be honest with yourself in the areas that you need help in, you know. And so I call it my little red journal. And my little red journal has so many of my thoughts and prayers and struggles and challenges that I wrote in there. I wish I would have had it with me. I would have shared some of those with you. I'm going to turn it into a book one day. But literally, it was me jotting down and me talking to God in a way that you talk to a parent. It was just saying, okay, this is the areas that I'm struggling with. Please help me with this. Give me the courage and the guidance when it comes to this area. And that included marriage, that included parenting, you know, because these are all the things as women that we get challenged with. How do I help my child navigate through this part of her life? I jot down all those things. How do I grow my marriage and communication? How do I, and these are things that, that I jotted those things down first, because you have to get clear first on what it is that you want. Okay. You got to begin with the end in mind. So you got to get so crystal clear about what you want out of life, what you want. Like for now, I'm really, working on my health, because that's another thing that, that just kind of, we don't even think about, and so I'm really attacking my beliefs when it comes to my health and my weight, and why do I do the things I do when it comes to the things that I eat. All of this are things that just been handed down to us, and it's wired in our thinking, and we can change that wiring. Okay, you have control to change the wiring in your head when it comes to your thought system and your belief system. You just don't know you have that. But so I'm telling you now, you have control to change the wiring in your head when it comes to the areas of your life. But first, you got to jot down, what is it that I need help with? What is it that I want to change when it comes to my life? Okay, your relationships, your friendships, all of that is wiring in your head, and you can change that. You just got to understand that you have control over that. People don't think, they just kind of go wherever the wind flows. You're not realizing you can change that. You have power over your life, and you can change those things. So the first thing I would say is get that journal. Okay. And I know this seems so little, but you got to do it. You just got to do it. Okay. Don't question it. Just do it. Go get the journal and jot down, what are the things that I want God to help me with? What are the areas that I need assistance and guidance with? Okay. And jot those things down. And that pertains to family, that pertains to money, that pertains to personal worthiness, belief, all of those things. You got to jot it down. You got to get so clear about what you want out of life. And once you get clear about it and you express that to God and you seek his guidance, he would definitely give you the answer. He's going to bring people in your life. He's going to bring situations in your life, and be prepared for that, because you're asking him to grow you. So how do you know you're growing? When situations come. Okay. I'll call it resolving conflict or remaining cohesive. You got to learn how to resolve these conflicts. That's how you know you're growing. So you can't ask for growth and then be mad when he gives you situations to help you grow.
That's good. That's right.
So that would be the first thing. And then, of course, having a mentor that's going to really challenge you and be honest with you. Okay. And we get upset and mad at our mentors at times, but you got to understand that they're coming from a good place. I remember one time, one of the mentors, he told me all this stuff about my business was going on. I was mad at him. I was like, how you going to tell me what's happening? But then I look back on that situation. I'm like, okay, he was really sharing with me some areas I need to grow in, because I was really upset about it at first. But now I look back on it and say, okay, this is true. Because once you grow a business, you can kind of pinpoint where somebody is struggling in, depending on where they are in business. And so it's just really, coming with a clear conscience and knowing that you're here to grow and you're going to be given situations to grow. So jot those things down and get with a mentor that you trust and you can receive feedback from them, and share those things with them, because then they're going to help you in those areas. But we can't think that we can do it by ourselves. And that's what happens with women. We want to be superwoman. I'm every woman. We think we can do all these things and not get any assistance or guidance. No, it's not going to happen. And men, I know there's men on here too. We think we really do. We think we can do it all and not get any assistance or guidance because we grown. Not realizing even grown folks need mentors if you want to grow and get better.
That's true. That's true. What would you say? Like, I think, we all have limiting beliefs and we all have these things, but I think women specifically, I want to speak to this, just like certain belief systems or shadow beliefs or these curses or these agreements that we've agreed to as a child that are not true. Like, Coach Arender said this to me in front of everybody. He's like, a woman should not make more money than her husband.
Mm-hmm.
And that is it, because it emasculates the man. It makes you and then you have that that boss lady, to put it nicely, or you have like the wimp, and the women have these like dichotomies of where we're going to go with that. Do you have experience with that, or do you see that with specific belief systems that women have? Like we talked about on the phone, like daddy issues. I think daddy issues and net worth are so tied in. It's crazy.
No, they are. They really are, because that's your first encounter with a man is with your dad. And so if you grew up in a very critical household, then you have a sense that you're not worthy. If someone's always criticizing you or always, then you think that you're not good enough, and you carry that around, and then you marry someone that mimics the same personality as your dad, because you do. Typically you marry this person that your dad is like, because that's who as a man figure, and then they carry that same sense of criticism or whatever your dad was like. Your husband is almost like that as well. And so you still have that sense of unworthiness, or that you're not, good enough, for this particular person to get better. And so I really thank my husband that he was not critical, that he really allowed me to be me. I use the word allow. I don't think the word should be allowed, but he did. There's so many women that I meet with that are married and their husbands really knock them out of the business because of what you just said. And I think, the husbands are probably afraid that their wife is going to make more money than them, because we've been taught that, we've been trained um, and it just amazes me that husbands and wives are not on the same accord.
Mm.
you know and we have so many different women that are really have the great potential to win big here, but because of their husband they don't. And that really that that shakes them sometime, and so they don't proceed to move forward because of their husband. Or I know one of the goals that I write down every morning, because I'm very, very adamant about writing my goals down, but I write down that I'm a coach to my team and I'm a wife to my husband, because I can't go home and coach him. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I want to go home and be wife and let him be husband. But I think as an alpha female, that happens a lot. And so I do believe that at times you do got to stroke your man's ego.
Mm.
I do believe, but that don't mean you make less money. Now, I'm not about that. We gonna make some money because it's the family's money.
That's right.
It's not just my money. This is a generational. When you realize what Primerica can give you, and you have the potential to really go out and do it, you just got to meet with your husband and really sit down and have a good conversation about what Primerica can do for your family. And this is our money. This is not just my money. This is our money. And so let's do this together. But that happens a lot. I think more so on the man, and then because of the man, the female follows suit. If the male has a ego and they feel like their ego isn't, if they feel like they're going to be less than because their woman makes more than them, then the woman follows suit with the man. But if that's not an issue for them, and they have a strong sense of themselves, they have a strong sense of their worthiness, then it doesn't matter that their woman makes more money than them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a twofold part. It does deal with the woman's worthiness, but it also deals with the husband and the male's worthiness as well.
Agreed. Agreed. In the book Worthy, and I ask you for your insight in this, but she said that because of our shadow beliefs, we have what we call resistance, right? To do what we're supposed to do, or to do what we need to do. And she said, if you identify, and really the resistance comes out as excuses. And so you can say, well, I can't go to Paris because I can't afford it. Really what it is I can't go to Paris because I believe I can't afford it. I'm resistant to having the money to afford it. Because if you look at those, because I think it's so easy in some level, we can blame our spouse. Like, I'd be so much bigger if he would just support me on it. But to be honest with you, most spouses don't initially support until you start bringing in some money.
Absolutely.
That's how it goes.
100%. I believe that. I really think, because Edward saw that I was really gung-ho and I was making money, when he saw the money in the bank, he quickly started to support me. I mean, he supported me from the beginning. He's the one that told me to do it. But when he saw that I was really on board, then he was like, okay, what I need to do? He got fully licensed very quickly because he saw money in the bank.
Nice.
So you want your husband to support you? Go make some money.
That's right. And don't be afraid to out-earn them. Don't be afraid. Because it's what Bill Render said, and I saw someone's quote. He wasn't saying that women should not make more money than men, but that women believe that we should not make more money than our man. And that's just a limiting belief that we have. But when he says, if you have issues of making more money than your man, then invest every single dime you make. Let your man support you and invest everything you make. Make 100%, map it to your mutual fund, and you'll have to worry about making more money than your husband. But you'll grow it. And I think you're right. It's just having that sense of knowing that but I think it's right down to what you keep saying this, and it's so true, is worthiness. How worthy do we feel? See, men value themselves by how much money they make. Women see money as security and safety. And sometimes we can have the security and safety is not for us earning the money, but it's who we're going to hook our wagon to. You're like, I can't make money because my husband's supporting me. That's what he's supposed to be doing. That's not my job. That's his job. And in that situation, does this ring true to you, that I feel like this is part of what we as women deal with?
It is. And we've been brainwashed to believe that. That's why I said you gotta change the wire that's in your thinking. We've been brainwashed to believe that, the husband takes care of the household. I'm here to support him. He brings home the money. He pays the bills. We've been brainwashed to believe that. And so we tend to act and behave accordingly because we've been brainwashed to believe it. Now one of the, I don't know if this is a downfall or not, but in my household, my mom taught me, if you want something done, you got to do it yourself. And so I don't know if that's from, my mom was a single mom. She was a single mother. And so I grew up in a single mother household. And so my dad, my mom and my dad were divorced when I was born. So he was remarried, but when I lived with my mom, she was a single mother. And so she was always like, so I think, because I was raised by an alpha female, my belief system on me making money, was different. It was just the amount of money I could make. I had to challenge that part of it. But no, she was like, if you want something done, you got to do it yourself.
Wow.
She said, don't depend on a man. So I had to rewire. So when I got married to Edward, I had to rewire my thinking on that, because I'd already had a house when I got married. I was already in professional world making money, quote unquote money. And so I had to rewire my thinking on being a wife versus challenging him and we being combative and me saying, it's mine, this is my house, no, this is ours. So I had to rewire my thinking on how to be a wife and not be combative with him in that area.
Wow. I'm going to be honest with you, Shanika.
And I'm glad he
Well, I could talk to you forever because I just love talking about money. I love talking with a strong woman leaders yourself and but just maybe just give us a closing thought about how can we have 170 plus people here on this call? How can we help them move forward? And then, and before you do that, I'm going to say this, Bill Render mentioned this, and I think we're going to doing this. This is probably going to become a monthly thing.
Okay.
Because I think this is, and we can get, I'd love your help with that, but also the other speakers. But I really believe this needs to be a monthly because there's no way that we can truly cover all of this in, an hour. There's just no way.
No, this is
but if you can
years
just
and
close this
years
out.
of rewiring. Yeah. This is
Yeah.
years and years of me rewiring my thinking. It really is. This wasn't just being in Primerica. This is way before Primerica, me challenging my thought system and my belief system when it comes to my life. And so you just got to realize it's a journey. It's not going to happen overnight. But you have to can balance yourself, with the things you're saying. I think it does start with what you're saying, because what you say, you're speaking over your life, and that triggers your belief system. Okay. So it's like, what triggers my belief system? What are you saying? And then change the things you're saying. So that way it'll change what you're thinking, and it'll go back to your heart, to what you're believing. And then you'll speak differently. It's a revolving door. Speak, think, believe. Speak, think, believe. It's just a revolving door, but something has to change first in order for that door to start changing. And so I'm glad that this is going to be an ongoing thing, because this is an ongoing situation, and it's not a one-time quick hit. It's not a one fix type of thing. It's something you got to continuously work on, on a daily basis. And the first thing would be to put that prayer up. So I'll send you that prayer, Toni, when I get back, to Dallas. So that way, if anybody wants it, I rewrote it. I may have it saved on my computer, but I rewrote it because it's something that Bill Arenda gave me, or he gave to everyone at Century Club, years ago, and I just kept it. There's so many things I kept that Bill Arenda gave that I train over now, because that's what helped me in my journey when it comes to my belief system with money. So that prayer was number one. Getting your journal, and just know that this is not a overnight quick fix. This is a journey, and it's you really challenging the things that you say, and start watching what you're saying first. And then it's a revolving door. What you speak, you believe, it goes in your heart, you think it. I mean, it's just a revolving door, but knowing that it has to start from something. Okay. And you got to start the process. And then over time, you'll see yourself, your relationship with money will get better.
I agree. Wow. Excellent. Well, I know people are asking this, so I'm going to just show this real fast. The book Worthy, which actually started all of us on this. This is the book. If you want to look it up, you can. It's great in Audible. It's on Kindle. It's on Amazon. It's on everything. But this is the book that started it. And I put it in the chat. If you guys want a copy of this recording, or when you want a copy of the prayer, just email orinder.downloads@gmail.com, and we'll send that to you as soon as we get that from Chanika. And Chanika, I just want to say thank you so much for what you have shared with us, and what the example that you are, and that you're willing to stop and bring us with you. And just thank you so much for that. Really, really appreciate that, and have a great time in Colorado. And anything else, Chanika, we want to talk about before we say goodbye, or should everyone go?
I'm just honored to be here. I mean, this is exciting. When you know that you're here to change lives and to impact lives, you just don't know whose lives you're changing, but you got to be willing to be open to that process, and be willing to be coached and corrected in the process of changing lives. I mean, just the other day, I had one person that I'm mentoring, and she literally on the Zoom just cried right in front of me, just sharing with me how, she's excited that God brought me into her life. And, it's those moments that you realize you're here for a purpose, And once you realize your purpose, then you become a blessing. And so we're all here. You're on this call for a reason and for a purpose. So jot down what you want out of life. Okay. And once you realize what you want out of life, and you really start to seek and get on the floor and pray for it and seek God's guidance in it, it will come. And it may not come in the form that you want it to come, but he's going to send you people. He's going to send you situations and examples and things to help you grow in those areas. You just got to be willing to be open to the process.
That's true. That's very true. Awesome, Chanika. Thank you so much again. I won't keep you guys there on the Walmart parking lot. Travel safe. And we'll see you when you come back, and we'll just talk when you come back. But we have to do this again. There's so much. I have all these questions I want to ask you, but I didn't want to stop you from talking because we're phenomenal. So thank you so much, and give our best to the family and to Ed.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.